Egypt is a vital, yes, vital partner in the Middle East. Egypt could not be more important to the Israeli-Palestinian peace process, but now with the recent uptick in violence, it becomes a very sticky situation. Joining us now is former U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, John Bolton. Good evening, sir. And if you were in charge and could make the decisions, how would you be handling this crisis?
Well, I think what you have to keep first and foremost is what America's interests are here. We're not talking about some academic class and comparative government. The issue is what's in our interest, and what's in our interest first is stability in the Egyptian-Israeli peace agreement. And I think that's gravely threatened by a loss of stability and potential chaos in Egypt. And number two, we've got a strategic interest in our relationship with the Egyptian military and the stability that it provides for other Arab regions in the Middle East, particularly in the Arabian Peninsula. So I think what we ought to be doing is not trying to second-guess and manipulate an evolving political process, which America has tried to do in the past and often gotten wrong in Nicaragua, in Iran, and elsewhere, but working to stabilize the situation, get it under control, and then talk with the regime about potential political reforms.
But how do you possibly stabilize and get under control when you've got, at this hour, 1 million people taking to the street, demanding that their president get out, and get out now, not in September, not in April, but get out now? How in the world do you stabilize that situation? Especially some are saying making anti-USA remarks, so they're not going to be particularly receptive to us.
Well, what's the alternative? Let them have power? I think Mubarak today.
No, I'm just saying, how do you stabilize it? I'm just asking how you stabilize it. It's a crisis.
Right. Mubarak today authorized his new vice president, Omar Suleiman, to begin negotiating with the demonstrators. I think that's a very shrewd move on his part, opening up the negotiation process with Mohammed el-Baradei now leading the coalition of opposition parties. You can guarantee he's going to agree to negotiate. So I think that already brings an inherent stability, assuming tomorrow's demonstration doesn't turn violent. And note that the military has said they don't intend to take action against peaceful demonstrators.
Does el-Baradei, though, speak for all these people? I mean, I get sort of the sense, watching these videos and reading the newspapers over there, that this is sort of an eclectic group, for lack of a better word, that there are people with all different interests, all different political persuasion, all with gripes. It's like, I mean, it would be easier if they did have, quote, one leader to negotiate with.
Well, I think el-Baradei is a dilettante, and I don't think he's going to last long as the negotiator. But my point is, he's going to start the negotiation. It's very difficult to understand who to negotiate with in this diverse group. But just because there are a lot of people in the street doesn't mean this is going to be resolved soon. And I think the real force, the real stability remains with the Army that has no intention, has shown no indication it's prepared to relinquish power.
If the Army had to pick a team, the protesters or the president, which team do you think they'd pick?
Well, I think what they're going to pick is continued reliance on the supply of American weapons, and that's why I think they'd like to see some kind of solution that works itself out, that keeps the Muslim Brotherhood out of power, and which guards and protects the military's preeminent position in the state, something akin to Pakistan. And I think that's the end result that they're groping toward.
We only have 20 seconds left. Are the protesters going to get worn out, or they're going to amp up?
Well, I don't think anybody knows at this point, but I don't think anybody should necessarily believe that this is going to be resolved quickly. I think this whole thing could go on for quite some time.
Ambassador, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Now, the State Department is reporting that more than